everybody. Thank you so much for waiting patiently. I'm happy to say that Elliot, and who will be joining us as well, Elliot Stubbs, and Vilimawi will be connecting in any second. They're into the site, which is good news. I think we'll all be IT technicians by the end of this show. Anyhow, thanks so much for waiting. So if you don't mind waiting just a few more minutes, they're nearly with us, I hope. I'm not sure if many of you have been to Fiji before, and I think I can see Elliot might have joined us, but you know, there's some really amazing things to do. I mentioned the adventure and Bear Grylls showcasing that. That's the best way to see the adventure at the moment in Fiji while we're in dreaming stage. The beaches are pretty spectacular. We have, you know, lots of beaches that you would imagine in the South Pacific, you know, fine white sand, lots of coves to discover. You have atolls, you have volcanic islands, different shapes, love heart shaped islands as well. And it's a really good place to cruise and go sailing. We have lots of natural ports. And at the moment, the only people able to come to Fiji are on yachts through the balloon lane strategy. So if you have any friends with luxury yachts, you're able to come into Fiji and quarantine for up to 14 days right now. Sadly, not any of my friends, although otherwise I would be there now. But you know, there's lots of culture you can discover. Bill may be able to tell us a little bit more about where he comes from, but certainly I headed into the highlands in the middle of Vilimawi a few years ago, and I visited villages where children had never seen the sea, which seemed totally inconceivable to me, you know, considering it's an island nation of 333 islands. But, you know, everyone rides around on horseback, and it would take, you know, about 5 hours to get to the sea on a horse. But there is still so much authenticity there. So even though Fiji has a really well-established infrastructure, it's very safe to go there. You drive on the left, incidentally. It's still part of the Commonwealth, and last weekend celebrated its 50th year of independence. I'm sure you all know that Fiji loves rugby, and we have some of the best rugby players in the world, particularly Fiji Sevens. So it's not uncommon to pass through a village early evening and see people after work just catching a game of tag rugby or on the beach. Often, you know, they might be playing coconuts or rolled up shirts or Coke bottles. You know, it's a really relaxed environment. But also it's possible to visit the villages, and you know, whether you're there for diving, a honeymoon, backpacking, or a luxury resort, I think it's always the people that really resonate and shine through, and the thing that people will most talk about. So Elliot, I can see that I think you're there, and I think Bill is also online. Welcome. I hope you can hear us. Hey, Elliot, welcome. Thanks very much for joining us.
Hello, Jane.
Bula.
Hello, Jane.
Yes, I'm here.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Jane.
Yes.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
I can't hear you though.
Okay, is Bill joining us?
Hello.
Hi, I can hear you.
Hello. Oh, hang on. Can you hear me?
I can.
Oh, now I've got you loud and clear. Sorry about
that. Okay. How's Bill doing? I saw his name crop up. Are they able to access?
No, sorry, everybody. So welcome to the chat. Just to fill everybody in on what's been happening, I've just had a feed to Fiji happening live from here in the UK. I was just in another screen a moment ago. They were getting into the chat just then. However, I would have expected them to be in here by now, so I'm not quite sure where that is, but maybe I should just... We're just trying to fix the connection, guys. I can see a few people in the chat there. So just by way of introduction, hi everybody. My name's Elliot. In Fiji, they call me Eloni. I have an English name and a Fijian name. I've spent close to 20 years now in and out of Fiji. I know the place extremely well. Probably not quite as well as Jane, but reasonably well, let's just say. I have a daughter in Fiji who goes to school there at this exact moment in time. She's 12. I can talk all day about Fiji. I'm sure Jane's already talked a lot about it in the intro. Essentially, I'm a PADI dive master, SSI dive instructor, have lived and worked on at least 10 or 12 different islands in Fiji, and probably dived about 30 or 40 of them. It's a fantastic place, you know, beautiful warm water, tropical environments. The people are what really make the difference. And you're hopefully going to see that for yourself in a few moments when we get Bill or Ratu on the phone. We're hoping to. Maybe I'm just going to jump back out of here, Jane, and go and investigate what's happening there. And then I'll be right back with you. Is it okay?
Yes,
Fiji
sure.
time. There is a wonderful thing called Fiji time, which basically means it will happen. It just might not happen right now. But I will be back in a few moments.
It normally does.
I will be back.
Yeah. Fiji is normally really efficient. Yeah.
Just hold the line. I'll be right back. I'm going to jump out of here. I'll be back in a few minutes.
Yeah. Sure. Okay. Now this is the time when I should be strumming on a guitar as if we were on a beach, but sadly my musical skills aren't quite as strong as Elliot's. But anyway, thanks so much for bearing with us. I'm really sorry about the technical hitches. I hope you haven't had too much of that because it gets a little bit tiring after 2 days. I'm not sure whereabouts you're all dialing in from. Are you all UK based? I can see some of you are in the UK. And Bill! Oh, Bulavanaka. So allow me to introduce you, Bill, to our wonderful audience. And I have to just explain that Bill. Oh, great. So I just have to explain that Bill only found out about this session last night before he went to bed, and it's early in the morning and he's just managed to get to a cafe to get some internet connection. But it's a huge privilege to welcome Vilimawi of Naitasiri, which I think is in the Highlands, Bill, isn't it?
We're here, yeah. Yes, we're finally here.
So, Bill, tell us about yourself and where you come from in Fiji, first of all, if you don't mind.
Hello, everyone. My name is Vilimawi. I'm originally headed from Naitasiri, the highland of Fiji. It lies in the heart of Fiji. So, where I'm originally from, it's like bushes everywhere, trees everywhere. That we do have electricity and not that good internet.
It's the truth.
So
it's the coconut wireless.
So yes, I'm originally from Naitasiri, heart of Fiji. It is tropical out there, cold at night, daytime you get 50-50, cold and I would say warm. Not that hot, not that cold. There's a tropical weather.
Nice. I think we're all just, for the audience's benefit here, I have been flat out for about the last hour trying to make this connection happen with the technology and whatnot. It's been interesting to say the least. I've been chatting with Jane now for quite a number of years and know each other fairly well. I used to work with Bill in Fiji up until about 6 months ago. until coronavirus happened, which essentially took me back from Fiji to the UK on a British government repatriation flight. And obviously Bill is still in Fiji with his family and whatnot. So we've all just kind of met in the last few minutes in real time on a combination of different technology platforms. And we've just pulled this together now for you, the audience. So thanks for being here. And it's actually a miracle, really, that this is happening right now in many ways. So I'm stoked. And I think all three of us right now are just appreciating the moment that we're in. It's a beautiful thing.
Absolutely. So, so Bill, what we were really interested to really tell our audience about is some of the very special legends in Fijian folklore, and in particular the shark god. And you know, when I first arrived in Fiji, I was really amazed because usually, you know, when people say the word shark, it invokes fear. And for all of us in the diving community who are really well educated and know that sharks are actually very, very special and so important to the ecosystem. But at the first time I went to Fiji was nearly 20 years ago. And so, you know, it was still quite a new thing that, you know, outsiders didn't understand why in Fiji people aren't very afraid of sharks. They treat them very, you know, like something very special. So I'd be really interested to hear and share with our audience why that is.
So I've been told a story by my grandfather just yesterday, my mother-in-law. So way back Dakwanga, known as the shark god. Thing about Dakwanga, he defeated all the other gods around Fiji. And he came to Kandavu, which is the third biggest island in Fiji. So on its way, he met this god, octopus god, and they have a disagreement and they fought. And the octopus god asks the shark, god shark, which is Dakwanga, if he can protect the people of Kandavu. And they made an agreement, and now all the people in Kandavu are protected by the shark. And matter of fact, Dakwanga is, I've been told by my aunt that he's from Vilimawi. It's the third biggest island in Fiji, in the island of Vilimawi. That's where the dad's from, and the mother's from Tomba in Nanji, other name Bay of Plenty. So that was few information was given by my auntie and my grandfather. Yeah, apart from that, people from Vilimawi are protected from sharks, and people from Kandavu, also all around Fiji. Genes have been spread down to generation from god of the shark god. So hardly in Fiji we get shark attack or bitten by shark. Yeah.
Oh, Vinaka, Bill, that's a really great story, and I've heard that story in Fiji on my visits, and it's really reassuring that in Fijian culture, you know, sharks are considered so sacred. So whereabouts in Fiji can you see sharks? And, you know, what is your experience? Have you been diving with sharks as well?
Yes, I've been diving around Fiji, and I've seen sharks around Fiji. Everywhere in Fiji, there's sharks. We have leopard shark, we have tennina shark, white tip, black tip, silver, gray reef, and tiger shark.
Yeah,
we also have, did you know that we also have scallop hammerhead? You can also find scallop hammerhead in Savu Savu. Yes,
Oh, really?
the schools of scaled hammerheads, like hundreds.
It's a beautiful sight. I've seen large schools of hammerheads in between Vilimawi and Vilimawi on a couple of occasions.
It is.
Yeah.
And where would you access that from Raki Raki, the north end of Vilimawi?
Yes, you can exit from there, or you can take a ferry from Suva to Vilimawi. But the easiest way to go to Vilimawi, which is from the Ellington Wharf to Vilimawi. Yes, which, to answer your question, yes, Raki.
Oh, I've dived there once, and I think Elliot's very familiar with that area.
Can I just add something on the subject of the, I guess something I've picked up on over the years, in and out of Fiji a lot. I believe, maybe Bill, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but when the people of Benga drink their kava, is it true that they will also go and put some kava in the ocean for Dakawanga? For the god?
That's way back. Before my this generation, but that way back when how do I say this? Pray to Dakawanga. They would give the kava to Dakawanga to also drink.
Yeah, so it's a respect for the.
It is.
Yeah. So for those of you who don't know this or haven't heard this before, obviously, pre to the arrival of Christianity into Fiji, essentially the belief structure was all about animal gods, right? So Dakawanga, god of the sharks, different gods, different animals. Essentially, that's a bit of the story there of Fiji.
And also, he can change himself to be a small man or big, huge male. Usually, what he smells like seaweeds. If you can smell have you smelled seaweed? I bet we all did smell seaweed. Yes, that is what the smell is like.
Wow.
From Dakawanga. Yeah, I mean, roughly, it's a story about my little brother and my mom. They were on the boat, and they smell this guy just hop into the vehicle. Big hair, big beard, everything. He's really huge.
Wow.
But I didn't believe my mom, but she was telling the story. But she said she's seen it, but I believe her from there. But I've seen the picture of Dakawanga. But it's really crazy how big and how built he is.
Bill,
That must have been a really unique experience. Sorry, Elliot,
we have a question from the audience. It's Angelica Zhang. Thank you for your question. She's asking, are the children of Fiji nowadays still taught to respect the sharks?
Yes, we do. Whenever we go out fishing, whenever we're at the beach, we are taught to respect the sharks. No matter what you do, what you've been taught. From our generation, from our grandparents, they told us respect the shark and also share the love to them.
Nice. Yeah. I feel like saying I feel like I have a very interesting story in here, and I just wish to share this. I haven't shared this with very many people at all, least of all either of you. So I grew up in the UK as a British citizen, but I've lived in Fiji a lot and spent a lot of time there. And interestingly, when I was a child digging holes in the ground here in the UK, I was always trying to go somewhere, but I wasn't sure where. And it wasn't until I was about 21 or 22, I first went to Fiji, and I realized that that's perhaps where I was always trying to get to. And there's definitely a spiritual home there for me on levels I can't even describe with words. So it actually means a lot to me to hear this from you, and what it means to Fiji and the people of Fiji. The respect for the animals there is incredible. The respect for one another is incredible. The love between one another is incredible. And in all honesty, if the rest of the world, I mean, I'm sitting here right now as a supporter of and representative of Tourism Fiji, but genuinely on a human level, I really do mean this. The world, could learn a lot from Fiji, and obviously Fiji is continuously learning a lot from the world as well.
And also starting to lead the way, and community in Fiji is stronger than I've really experienced in many other places around the world. So Bill, tell us whereabouts you've been diving in Fiji. So I gather you've got lots of experience, and you've been diving in Kandavu. Kandavu is a really special place, isn't it?
Yeah, I would say to top of the points, I would say Kandavu has the top rank of diving. They have sharks, manta rays. Okay, the thing about manta rays, to be honest, they show off sometimes.
They show off.
Yeah, just for me.
Just for you.
Few times I took divers out there and they take pictures, and this manta ray, we name her Annie. She's big and she has this white belly. She has a white belly. What she does, she makes around the divers, and then she comes in front of the divers. The divers will be holding their cameras, taking the shots, and this manta ray will just come in front of them and make a backflip and swim off.
They really are the majesties of the sea, aren't they? They're so great.
And it's really nice to see them swimming by, and really nice to see them glide and just go past the divers.
Mm-hmm.
I can believe it.
Mm-hmm. Is there a manta ray cleaning station in Kandavu?
There's a cleaning station and there's a feeding station. So cleaning station, what they do in cleaning station, they come around, hover on top of the bommies. They'll swim around the bommies, and there'll be a cleaner fish around them, cleaning everywhere inside around the gills, and then they'll swim off. For feeding station, there's lots of plankton. If there's lots of plankton, there's lots of mantas.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think the great thing about Kandavu is you've got the Great Astrolabe Reef, which is, I think, the fourth biggest barrier reef in the world. And you only have a few resorts or dive schools using it. I know Matava, Oneta, Matava, and also, Kokomo, which is a new 5-star resort. They're all resorts, but really it's not very frequented by many people. So, you pretty much have exclusive use of that reef. It is really quite spectacular to see from the air as well. But the thing about Kandavu is that you've got lots of villages, with very deep culture, but it really is a stunning island. It's quite volcanic and very tropical. And they have other legends there, like the legend of the turtle. So it's possible with some of the villages have a tradition where they can call the turtles out of the sea. You can fly from Nandi down to Kandavu. It takes about 45 minutes, and the flights are almost daily in normal times with, Fiji Link, which is Fiji Airways' domestic carrier, and it's quite easy to book online. But I'm looking forward to going back to Kandavu one day. I've just visited once, and it's a really incredible
Fiji
experience.
has over 330 islands, and Kandavu, which is the 4th largest island, right? It's still on the to-do list for me. I just keep hearing stories, and it just keeps making me wonder. One day.
Yes.
You should.
Yeah.
It's really mind-blowing if you go and dive there. So there's lots of stuff to see. You see heaps of table coral, soft coral, stegon coral. There's a lot to see. I don't know. I have like lots in my head which I cannot say it, but you should go out and see it. Like,
I know. There's only,
to be honest, you should.
Sometimes words don't even begin to describe what you actually see when you're in there. Right? It's just like a technicolor visual extravaganza. You can't put it into words actually.
Yeah.
Well,
and is it warm to dive
really.
there?
You get to wear 3mm wetsuit when you're doing 3 dives or 2 dives, and I prefer you have a 3mm and a shorty.
The water temperature in Fiji fluctuates between what I think 26, 27 degrees. I think the hottest I ever saw on my dive computer was maybe 31. Yeah, it's horrible.
Well, I went swimming in Devon last week, and it sure was a bit colder than that, I can tell you. But the visibility is always great in Fiji as well, I find.
I think on average you're probably looking at, hard to say. Look, to be really honest, I mean, look, there are a number of shipwrecks around Fiji, which I've dived, and I'm sure Bill has as well. And on some occasions, you can go to a shipwreck and have maybe limited viz, 5 meters, 4 meters, if it's all stirred up, if there's a bit of a current or whatnot. That's entirely possible. But on the other side, standard visibility, I'd say, would be anywhere from 15 or 10 to 25 meters would be standard. And on a really clear day, I've personally dived up in the Asauas before. That's and good. Seen, honestly, I've been down at 30 meters on a wall, and I've looked up and I've seen my friend Ollie was on the boat at the time, the dive master, and he was waving at me from the side of the boat at 30 meters down, clear as anything, crystal clear. And I also looked down the wall and saw probably at least 20 or 30 meters down. It was, 50, 60 meters viz that day. I wouldn't say that's standard, but it's certainly possible. It feels like you're swimming in air.
Oh, yeah, that sounds amazing. I've just noticed that. Yeah, to be there now, this is torture. Angelica is actually asking some great questions. Thanks, Angelica. So you've asked if if anywhere else in Fiji there's special relationship between islands and any of the marine animals. So there are certain areas of Fiji where you can see specific things. Yesterday we talked about being able to see the manta rays accessibly in the Asauas Islands, but as Bill mentioned, traditionally one of the best places to see oceanic mantas has been down in Kandavu, but also we talked to Bill, I'm not sure if the connection went, but you might have heard I was just mentioning about the turtles in Kandavu, the turtle calling. Have you ever been lucky to see that?
They call out the turtle. They do it traditionally, but there are certain people that do it, but only in Kandavu. And it's really amazing.
Yes,
it is.
Yeah, it must be an incredible sight, actually.
Come to the surface.
So they just call and they literally come to the surface.
Pop up from the water, and then you'll see them coming closer, but they won't be closer. Closer be like a meter or two.
And not everyone is privileged enough to be invited to see that. I think you have to be either from specific clans or from other islands, right? Yes. But also further north, just on the south coast of Viti Levu in Benga Lagoon, that's really probably the most famous area where you can see up to 8 varieties of shark, but it's also has another legend, which, you know, on Benga Island, it's possible to see the famous Fiji firewalking, right?
I have an uncle from Benga, and like what
you know,
he says, like
that's incredible.
He's a chiefly family. He's from a chiefly family. They walk on top of hot rocks, and they don't feel anything at all. And the other best thing is diving out there. Wicked. You have different varieties of shark. You have shark that comes around like really huge sharks. It's really amazing to see that Fiji has different species of shark. And I'm really glad that I have a Fijian to see that we are preserving sharks here in Fiji.
Bill, what does tourism mean to you as a Fijian man? What does tourism mean to you as a human, as a person?
As a person, tourism means a lot to me. Not just me, the whole family, the whole of Fiji. We all know that we also rely on tourism industry. So tourists that come to Fiji, we get to mingle and to know other people around the world, and get to know that we have other people around the world that does exist. It's really nice to have people, other people in Fiji, and to get to know their culture, to learn about their culture. And also the best thing is that we get to improve our English to speak. Yes, true that. A few of us, like from Fiji, we are not that well educated, not well spoken Fijian. I mean English. Those are some places that where we get our English improved.
One and up.
Yes.
Well, each time I've been to Fiji and I've managed to get to see a school, I'm always really impressed at how good the English actually is. The education in Fiji is great, and if the kids in this country are as well behaved as they are in Fiji.
As someone who has a daughter who's currently going to school in Fiji, Bill knows my daughter. He's met her a few times, and you know, we've hung out together. Hey, and you know, if the kids in the UK were anywhere half as well behaved as the kids in Fiji most of the time, then the world would be a better place. And that's, you know, that's true for everywhere. Yeah,
that's really true.
Great parents, to be respectful, to be loyal and honest, and also the main thing is to love one another. And main message of all.
Amen.
Yeah. Especially at this time, you know, I think we're all going to need a bit of Fiji healing when this is all over and borders reopen.
We cannot see our friends that we haven't haven't met, or even hugs from our friends from overseas.
So maybe we can. What does the word? We just had a question here from Caroline Frisch.
Yeah, we miss you.
I don't know if you've mentioned it, but how do you call the shark in Fijian, and does it have another meaning? How do you call the shark? Do you mean what do you refer to the shark as, or how do you call the shark to you?
That's a great question.
Two things, that question. Caroline, if you could just please clarify your question, that would be great. Bill, what does the word bulla mean? I know what bulla means, but maybe for the people who don't, what does the word bulla mean when you say bulla to someone? Bulla vinaka. The word for shark. What is the word for shark in Fijian? I think he's just doing an amazing impression of a statue right now.
I'm not sure if Bill's connection has just temporarily dipped.
Ah, you know what it is. So just for the audience's benefit, where Bill is right now in Fiji, his internet we knew was going to stop at an approximate time, and then he has to restart it again. So that's obviously what he's doing right now. So he'll be back.
Okay. All right.
The word for shark in Fijian.
Go ahead, Elliot.
For
sorry.
Shark is in Fijian, to be honest with you. Shark. I do have a book here called Say It in Fijian, so I could quickly look it up and see what it's in there. Shark in Fijian. It's a very good question, actually. We'll wait for Bill to come back on that one.
Yeah. Good. Yes.
Yeah.
Well, we know the shark god is Dahuanga.
Here he comes.
But there are 8.
In brief,
yes,
Bill
is back.
means health and wealth.
Yeah, and good timing. Yeah. Thanks and welcome. Yeah, and it couldn't be more appropriate. Good health at the moment. Yeah. So Fiji actually hasn't had many cases of COVID at all. It's all been border contained. There's Mitch. Yeah. Okay, Bill, we can see you. Thank you. Oh, Bulla Bill, we can hear you. We can see you.
We can hear you and we can see you.
Whilst Bill is just connecting, we're just talking about other animals and marine, not so much just marine, but also there are some great projects to regenerate iguanas in Fiji, because Fiji doesn't have many mammals. It has magnificent marine life, magnificent bird life, but it also has iguanas, and there are certain areas, particularly in the Mamanuca Islands, that are doing some really good project work.
I think I've muted Bill, for example, just while they were setting up, so I'm just going to unmute them now. Can you hear us, Bill?
And you can't get through to him on the phone either.
Hello? Bill. Not sure what happened there. Hang on. I know what's about to happen, though.
Okay.
So just bear with us for a moment.
We'll be wrapping up in a few minutes. Thanks for all your patience, everyone.
Sorry
we're
about
really
that.
touched that you've stuck with us, but I found Bill's story really interesting, actually. Oh, Bulla Bill, that's okay. So, well done. So we were just talking about the word for shark in Fijian.
There we go.
Yes. QIO. That's brilliant. Thank you so much. So, Bill, just to wrap up, we've got a few more minutes. Would you like to share any really special diving experiences you've had in Fiji? Anything particular that comes to mind?
It will take half an hour, another hour to tell all dive side, the best dive side.
Let's go.
A jackpot dive side, I would say. Okay. If you're
Angelica has time.
Okay, if you're looking for shark, a particular shark like scallop hammerhead, I would prefer you go to Savu Savu. Savu Savu. But for manta rays, for oceanic manta, you can go to Kondavu. And also you can go to the Asawas, like Manta Ray Resort, where you can snorkel or dive with mantas. Particularly for soft coral. Oh man, soft coral. When you talk about soft coral, white wall, Taviuni. So Taviuni has this dive site like white soft coral from top. It doesn't end. And you can see it all white. It's just like flowers on the wall. No, it's all year round. Annually, every
Is that all year
year.
round, Bill, or
for
just certain times of the year?
Scenic Manta in Kandavu. Oh, yeah. Elliot, thank you very much for the snacks.
Thank you, brother. No worries. Help yourself.
For the Oceanic Manta in Kandavu, April, where there's lots of plankton, Oceanic Manta. And if you want to see Annie, I would suggest you go to Kandavu. She's big. The thing about Annie, she has a mark, shark bite on the left or right, which is I'm not really sure which side it is. She's been bitten by a tiger shark. Yeah, that's way ago. But the last time I've seen her, think
Yeah.
6 months ago. But she's still there, and she still looks pretty.
Bill, have you met Scarface?
Scarface, I have met Scarface.
You have.
Oh.
Scarface, he's really big.
You want to tell her?
Who's Scarface?
Is an amazing tiger shark.
She's amazing tiger shark. She's big. She's really big. When there's shark feeding done in Kandavu, and you can see sharks around the bin. There's mostly gray reef, bull shark, and white tip, a few white tips. So whenever you want to know that Scarface is around, you will see all the tiger shark and the gray reef shark disappear, or they'll distance themselves away from the bin or the feeding arena. That's how big how scary she is to other sharks.
This is actually Scarface in this painting.
That is, yes, I can see that.
Yeah.
She would be 5 to 6 meters long.
How many meters
The
long
last time
would she
I
be?
saw Scarface was in probably 2010 or 11, maybe somewhere there. And she was pregnant.
Yeah.
So
Jeez.
yeah, we saw a pregnant Scarface swim through, which was just phenomenal. Just such a memorable experience, you know.
If for a nice calm dive for new beginners divers, I would suggest that you can go to the Asawas. There are few dive sites, amazing dive site, easy dive site, I would say, roughly meters from 10 to 15 meters or 10 to 12 meters, that you still have a lot of sunlight that penetrates through the water, that crystal blue water, to the coral, and beautiful coral. We do have also beautiful corals up in the Asawas. And also in Kandavu, we like the reefs there in Kandavu are really spectacular and pretty to look at. The fish, there are different kinds of fish. And if you're looking for micro stuff, you have Sausabu, you have Kandavu, and not forgetting the Singatoka. The Singatoka reef, yes. On the Coral Coast.
Really? On the Coral Coast. So that's geographically on Viti Levu, the biggest island between Nandi and Suva, the two main cities, towns really, and it's about halfway down. Yeah? Also home to the Singatoka sand dunes, where the rugby sevens train. I know that. It's hard on the legs to climb those up. Yeah, but Bill, tell me, I've been hearing a lot about Natewa Bay up in Vanuatu between Vanuatu and Taveuni,
What I've
and I just
heard, I
wondered
haven't been
if you'd
there,
ever had the
but
chance to
I've
go there,
heard
or
they
if you know
have
much
this
about it.
spinner dolphin that swim by Nateo Bay. Yeah, but it is really good.
Oh yeah, that would be lovely. Yeah, it's quite deep, isn't it? It's very, very deep.
Every
Completely
day there's
unique
new thing that you can find
ecosystem
in
that they're
Nateo Bay.
discovering new things in that they haven't
The
seen
thing is,
before.
it's deep,
So it sounds really interesting.
and there's lots of action happening in Nateo Bay. Have you guys dived at up in the Azores, Nananui Ra? You can also check on that.
Oh, thanks for that, Bill.
Here we go. I knew Nananura was going to come up sooner or later.
I mean, and Rocky also have this. Oh man, this that side is like crazy. I would do that again and again and again. It's like imagine yourself that you're going hiking and you have walls on both sides and you're like walking in between. That is what the dive side is like, and you have like hanging soft coral down, and you have red snapper swimming by, giant trevally, and you can also see white tip shark lying on the corner taking its nap. Stingray, blue spotted stingray underneath the coral. Man, I would do that every dive, non-stop. Nananura.
Yeah. I was lucky enough, Bill, to live on Nananura for about 6 months back in about 2005, 2006, when I was first in Fiji, actually. And honestly, the sunsets from there are phenomenal. It's known as the Sunset Coast, right, or the Sunshine Coast. Sun Coast, and it's amazing, honestly. And the diving off that coastline is truly world class. It really is. It's National Geographic level. I'm not making it.
Rocky has a current. It's a current dive. We also have like strong current coming in. You'll see lots of action happening at the Nananura dive site. There's lots of stuff happening there. Yeah.
Well, the interesting thing about it is so much to do in that area. I think it's really an unexplored part of Fiji because it is on the main island, but it's only really in recent times becoming much more well known. But the best thing, for visitors is that you don't need to fly there. You can drive there within 2 hours, and I always see dolphins in the bay. There's always really authentic experiences to do from there, like Talanoa treks, where you can go in to see these villages in the middle of Fiji, where tourism has never really touched. And it's great kite surfing. So aside from everything that's under the ocean and the spectacular choice of dive sites, you've got so much more going on. Until recently had the world's oldest sugar factory that was still working. Sadly, just a few years ago, it isn't anymore. But it's also home to Fiji water, right? So, in Fiji, you can drink the water. It's very, very safe. And, it's just such a rich experience all round, but so good if you have the opportunity to travel around Fiji. And, certainly if you go onto Fiji.travel, you can get some more information about how best to move from island to island. But I notice, and good morning, Deborah, you've dialed in from Australia, I think. And I noticed that Dive Planet have got some great offers in Fiji as well. So, if you're still cruising around the site today and tomorrow morning, then pay Deborah's site a visit and have a look at how, what good value Fiji is right now, because a lot of taxes have been removed off the rates. Tax off alcohol's been removed. So there's never, when borders reopen, there'll never be a cheaper time to go to Fiji. and experience everything that we've had tonight, which is just now making me so much more homesick.
We really for you guys. We really miss you guys. Really, really big time. Like friends here in Fiji, they're just telling me we cannot wait to see our friends again. We cannot wait to reunite with our friends from overseas.
Yeah.
To see their face and to see their smile again, and to meet the kids.
Some of the most amazing resort experiences I've ever had in Fiji, I won't name any particular names in this segment, but there are some incredible resorts in Fiji who, I'm not joking, the staff know they meet people when they're kids and they meet them when they're teenagers, and they continue to see them again when they're adults, when these people keep coming back. And then they meet the people's kids and they know their names, and then the years go by. And, you know, some staff at some resorts literally know you as a person year on year on year, and they know the kids' names, etc., etc. And it's really that, isn't it, which sets Fiji apart, I feel, from other places around the world. It's very special.
Yeah. And you know, it's a long way, let's not lie, you know, it's nearly 24 hours if you go straight there. And you know, in ordinary times, Fiji Airways, our national carrier, connects and code shares with lots of different airlines like British Airways, Cathay Pacific, Qantas, Air New Zealand, and you know, many more. So you can travel through Japan, Hong Kong, Singapore Airlines also do great rates to Fiji. And of course, you know, its proximity to Australia and New Zealand, only being a matter of 3 or 4 hours, makes it a really fantastic combination and stopover with those two destinations. And you can also travel through LA and San Francisco. So it's one of the best connected island nations in the Pacific Ocean. And you know, you know, I know we're incredibly biased, but I think the thing is that Fiji is so rich in so many different ways, in terms of, you know, culture and beauty and variety, but also is not hugely expensive to visit. And, you know, certainly really nice when you get there because the food is affordable and delicious, and everything's so fresh. And you know, there's no more special experience than, you know, having a good dive during the day, coming ashore, and then maybe having a nice campfire on the beach in the Asawas with Bill and his friends, hey? And a good old conversation. So, Bill, I don't know if you have any more to add. You know, I for one, extremely honoured and humbled that you were able to join us this evening, and you know, just want to take this opportunity to say Vinaka Vakalevu, and you know, I can't wait to meet you in person.
He is a cheeky person.
And I like to
wonderful soul, a truly wonderful soul.
Yeah, to family out there listening and watching, I'm really glad that I'm part of this conversation and to share a humble and loving part of as a Fijian. Yes, please don't stop yourself to come to Fiji. Just come to Fiji and see what is Fiji's like, and experience the love that we have, and the big hugs that we can welcome you with a Bula smile. Bula.
Yeah. Vinaka, Bill.
I will be.
You'll be there to show us around. Yeah. So Bill, you need to become one of our Bulanaires. So bulanaires.com, if you want to look it up, guys, is you know, we a couple of years ago we came up with a campaign about being rich in happiness. So we mixed the word billionaire with Bula, hence Bulanaires. But we have so many Bulanaires around Fiji who can really talk authentically about, you know, how welcoming everyone is in Fiji, and just to show you a little piece of their paradise. And Bill, you're definitely our Bulanaire for tonight. Thank you. But just in closing, Deborah's just very kindly sharing an access with us. I don't know if you can read the chat line, but if you go on to diveplanet.com/special/volley-special/, she's got some really good show offers for anyone that's excited and needs to book now. Most of the resorts are offering really flexible booking arrangements, and likewise the airlines. So as I said, it's never been a better time to think about it. So Bill, we wish you well for the rest of the day. Give our lalomas.
No problem.
And thank you, Elliot, for all your help today and for
Pleasure.
connecting us with Bill. It's been a very special experience. And also like to take the opportunity to thank everyone for listening and bearing with us through our connection problems tonight. Have a lovely evening wherever you are. And look forward to chatting to you more tomorrow morning about all the different corals in Fiji.
In the UK.
So, Vinaka Vakalevu, Bill. Mode Manda for now.
See you
And
soon. Thank you, everybody.
Mode Elliot. Mode everyone. Vinaka. Thank you. Thank you.